Welcome back, everyone, to Gaming News / Reviews. I'm Mr. Villa.
And Random Panda.
So today we're going to discuss GameStop. And, yeah.
Extinction. It's coming. Everybody knows it. Their stores are closing. How many
Yeah.
stores are they closing?
Roughly 2 to 3% of their stores. They have over 7,500 stores right now. And they're going to... And 2 to 3%, which pretty much going to be 150 stores, are going to be closing. So there will be people without jobs.
Just in the United States or globally?
There's actually globally. They have in 14 different countries. They have GameStops, so it's going to be all over.
Okay, so it's not just affecting Americans. So this really does pertain to everybody in all cultures.
Yes.
Which is honestly not a good thing. Whenever stores close, it's hard. But I can't say that the writing hasn't been on the wall for this. And by that I mean with their sales. I mean, how have their sales been?
Not so good. They've been falling since the holidays. Everything from the PlayStation Pro to PlayStation VR has not been selling well. And even their AAA games, they have not been doing well. They roughly said that the new Call of Duty game underperformed compared to like 2015's release of Black Ops 3, which the new Call of Duty game sold 50% less than the Black Ops 3 did when it came out. So that's really bad.
But on that note, I mean, GameStops don't make their money from new games. I used to know some employees relatively well at GameStops, and they had told me flat out that they make their money on used games. That when they sell new games, when they sell a new copy, a lot of that goes to the actual companies that are making them, not GameStop. But for their used game market, it is pure profit, and always has been. For instance, new game launches, we've all traded new games in. We all know how much they give you. Typically, it's like $30 to $40, and then they sell it for $5 off the new game price. $54.99 is typically the new release used game price. And so they are making anywhere from $20 to $30 per trade-in. Yes. Especially when they do the in-store credit gives you more than an actual trade-in, because not only are you trading your game in for a minor amount, but you're also then at that point buying probably a used game from them, which they're making more money off of. So the used game market is where GameStop makes a lot of their money. So I don't see how they can say that AAA titles and PlayStation VR hurt them. I really don't understand.
It's just an excuse, They just don't want to scare the people who actually have probably stock in their company,
Right. The thing that I really see hurting them is the openness to a secondary market. Craigslist being a major one. Facebook yard sales being another one.
Yes.
People can list their games on there. If I buy a new release game, I can list it on there for $45 to $50. A $10 hit to myself, still be cheaper than GameStop, and still get more than what they'd give me for my trade-in.
Yep.
And I think that gamers have finally realized that and are utilizing those markets. They're utilizing the Facebook yard sales. They're utilizing their local Craigslist. They're utilizing, just social networks in general to sell their games as opposed to going in store. And I think that's hurting GameStop.
It completely is hurting GameStop, yes. And I think that's why they're just coming up with excuses of blaming everyone else for their downfall that's about to happen.
And now as that goes on, more stores are going to close. The writing's on the wall that, they're being phased out. You're not going to be able to have just a store designated to games. And do you think that with GameStop closing, it's going to be upsetting to gamers?
I don't think so. Because you still got places like Target, Myers, Walmart, you know, and eBay, Amazon. It's just, I don't think it's going to be that upsetting at all.
What about midnight launches? What about like the pre-order bonuses?
You know,
because a lot of developers rely on those pre-order bonuses.
I think that we're coming to an age where they might just find other ways to do it, you know?
And on that note, I was just playing the devil's advocate. I completely agree that gamers are going to find a way to have their games at midnight and not be affected by, you know, oh, well, GameStop's closing. Now what am I going to do? Well, no, the world isn't going to, hell's not going to freeze over from that. However, I do think it's going to be harmful to parents, because when I go into Target or Meijer, as you suggested, note that they are not sponsors. But when we go into those stores, their employees are not educated about the games. They don't know the rating systems. They don't know the ESRB. They can't answer questions of, is this game okay for my 7-year-old? Whereas GameStop employees, you know, as much as we all dislike to admit it, they're knowledgeable about games and they can give you answers about games.
Yes.
And so I think ultimately it's going to be upsetting to the parents of gamers, you know, of young gamers. Obviously, your parents and my parents don't care what we play. I mean, you know, hey, let's go play some Get Out of Hell. You know, no one cares.
Yeah.
So I think that it is going to be upsetting to parents. I don't think it's going to be upsetting to gamers.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts
can see that.
on that? I mean, what do you think on my extensive rant here?
I want to agree, but on the other hand, I've seen kids just go in and be like, no, Mom, it's fine, you know? And even, like, people like GameStop tell them, like, oh, it's not really that appropriate game. I think parents are kind of failing now and just don't really care. They would just get their kid whatever kind of game he wants.
And I agree to an extent with that. You're right that parents do buy their kids games, you know.
That they should not be buying.
Wholeheartedly have witnessed that as well, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. I don't think that a Meijer employee is going to be more apt to explain to a parent the ESRB.
Yes.
A GameStop employee is very apt because it comes with the job. You know, they're supposed to be knowledgeable about the product they're selling. And by all rights, the ESRB, as much as some of us love it or hate it, the ESRB is very important to the gaming community. Mainly young gamers. I mean, older gamers like you and me don't care, doesn't faze us one way or another. Is the game rated adults only? Okay, who the hell cares? Why? Because I'm an adult and I want to play it.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter to us, but there are consumers out there that it does matter to. But stores like Target, Walmart, Meijer aren't going to offer the support that a specialist store like GameStop offers.
Okay, yes.
And so I know this has been a long conversation, I feel, at this point, that, you know, I've been ranting on, but I absolutely feel that parents are going to be hurt from the closing. I don't think that they're going to know that they're being hurt. I think that it's just it's gonna go under the radar, and the ESRB is going to be just kind of like a phallus. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
And you know, the other thing that I feel is hurting GameStop is the push for digital content.
Oh.
And that is a whole different rant that I would have to get into. But just quick touching base on it. What do you think? Do you think the digital content is hurting GameStop?
I want to say no, because I'm more of a physical copy guy. So I mean I don't think it's hurting that much.
Let me interject here real quick and just brainstorm this thought. When you go into GameStop, because you go to GameStop, yes?
Yes, yes.
Do you see any PC games there anymore?
No, I don't.
Recall, because you're the same age I am, recall 10 years ago, you know, say when you were in high school, going to the mall, do you recall seeing PC games in a GameStop, or I forget what it was called before here, but you recall seeing the boxes with the CDs in them?
Yes.
They were there.
Yeah.
And so those sales have now disappeared. GameStop, I mean, you might get people that buy it through it, but a lot of people are going through Steam and buying digitally. I think that those sales are moving away from GameStop. Now, you know, I'm not saying that consoles and handhelds and all that, I'm not saying that, you know, physical is disappearing and that's what's going to cause GameStop to close, but I do think those digital sales are starting to hurt the stores.
Okay.
But for a more in-depth conversation, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I would like to talk about that topic later. Definitely.
Okay. Okay, so then what I was going to say is correct. For a more in-depth conversation about the digital versus physical debate, stay tuned until next week. And by staying tuned, I mean click that subscribe button, plus the little bell icon to see when the videos go live. And then also a quick thumbs up is always appreciated on our end. And with that, this video is already done. I feel that we went over our time limit, but we always do. We can never keep it short.
I know.
This is Random Panda.
Mr. Villa.
We'll see ya.
See ya.